Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another installment of Kaylee Renovates Her Old House. If you don't know me, my name is Kaylee and my husband Brandon and I purchased our home in 2021. We live in Central Maine and we live in a 1850s farmhouse that was once a working farm way back when. And over the past 3 years we have been working on renovating the rooms one by one in different areas of the house to really make it into our dream home, as we do plan on this kind of being our forever home. And I have been documenting all of those renovations as we've gone along and sharing them with you. And that has been really fun. Of course, it's been 3 years and we've done a handful of renovations, but they all take a very long time. So these videos are kind of few and far between, but if you're interested, there is a whole playlist on my channel. And so we are starting our next renovation, which is the big one, and that is our kitchen. And so I wanted to sit down today and tell you about the plan and show you the vision board for this project before we go into the vlog of it. So the vlog is not going to come out probably until the fall is what I'm hoping. We're hoping the fall, but there will be like a full vlog of the process of renovating our kitchen. But before that, I wanted to just talk about it because it is such a big project, and I felt like if I put this part in with the vlog, it was just going to be this really long video, and I just felt like it was gonna be too much. So this is kind of a little preview to get you guys excited, hopefully, if you like this type of video, and make you want to come back and see what we actually end up doing, if we end up staying in budget, the challenges that we come across. I like to focus on the reality of home renovations here and how they can be very costly, how you can run into a lot of issues, how long they actually take, because there's a lot of content on the internet that you can just like go on TikTok and watch someone renovate their entire kitchen in 3 minutes, right? But in reality, that project took months and months and months, and that's what makes people just so amped about renovating their houses, is they're like, wow, like look how easy that looks, because it's in 400 times speed. And I'm no exception to that. I watch these videos and I'm like, oh, we could do that. But then when you're actually doing it, it's a lot of work. So I like to focus on that here and really just give you guys my honest opinions about things and tell you about like the hardships that we encounter, especially with this house being so old. We've run into issues with every single one of our projects. There have been big challenges, things we didn't foresee, money that we had to spend that we didn't plan on. So this, I'm sure, will be no exception. Just to give you guys a brief rundown of what we've already done in the house. When we first moved in 2021, we started with my home office, which was in one of the bedrooms upstairs. We built my desk, and we also refinished a filing cabinet for me. We moved my sewing table in there, and I do like a whole tour of that here on the channel. I made it kind of like a boho vibe, which you'll quickly realize is not really my style. At the time, I really wanted it to feel very lively with a lot of plants and stuff, and we've since moved away from that style with this house. I just felt like we needed to kind of give a nod to its age. 1850, it's 174 years old. So we wanted it to feel more like it was back in its heyday. And so that was our first renovation, but it was just kind of like a quick little one. After that, we moved into our primary bedroom, which was downstairs. It's off the kitchen, and this was a bigger project. It ended up being in the fall of 2021, and we spent probably more than we intended on it. The walls had to be repaired. There was water damage. We had to remove an AC from the wall. We made a accent wall behind the bed. We put in new lighting. There was a lot to it, and it ended up lasting into January of that year. So that was a few months of working on that bedroom. After that, we found out that we were expecting our son in the spring, so we'd only been enjoying that project for a little bit, and then we were like, oh no, now we have to figure out a nursery because we've got a baby coming. And we decided to move my home office into what was a very small room at the top of the stairs and create a micro office and turn my old office into the nursery. So we first did the micro office, and that was honestly one of my favorite projects we've done because it made this very small little space functional, and it was really all the space I needed for an office. Like I'm just sitting at a computer, so it was nice to make use of this little room and make it pretty and make it me. We went with this really pretty kind of like coastal blue color on the wall, like on the accent wall in there. It was just a really fun project. It came out really nice. And then of course we moved into the nursery right after that. So the nursery was in the fall of 2022 and I was due in December. So we took a couple months to do that, redid all the walls. I don't have any footage of us actually ripping that room apart because at that point in my pregnancy I was done. So there is a full room tour on my channel of that, and I talk about all the things that we did. The nursery is probably the closest to my vision of all the projects we've done. It came out just exactly as I envisioned it, and I just love it. We did a lot of thrifting for that project to save money, and the end result was just perfect. So that was kind of all of the renovations that I filmed. And then after we had our son, last fall we moved into this staircase. So our stairs initially when we moved in were these death traps. They were super steep, they had carpet over them, and then had one railing on one side and they were completely open on the other. They were so dangerous. Don't ask me how we got an FHA loan with those stairs. Just, we're not even gonna question it, okay? Like, it should not have passed, but it's okay, it did. So we were like, we have a baby now, we need to do something about this. This is dangerous for him, we need railings. And so in the fall, Brandon, our friend Evan, his dad, and Brandon's dad, they all worked together to build us some railings. And so we put in railings on the stairs, which took a long time. It was a very complicated project. I didn't film any of it. And then we spent the kind of late winter painting and getting the staircase looking pretty. And so that is not even 100% done. We still have to finish the railings, so the railings still need to be completely finished. They need to be stained underneath, and they need some poly on them. And it just goes to show like how long a project can really actually last, because we're coming up on almost a year of that. But they look great, they are functional, they are safe, and we're really happy with them. So directly after that though, there was no rest for the wicked. We went right into putting a new roof on the house. So Brandon worked from May to early July to put a metal roof on the front of our house. So we have two roofs. We have the main house over the living room, bedrooms, and then we have the attachment, which is the kitchen, and then the attached garage, which we call the barn. And they have two separate roofs. The roof over the bedrooms was leaking. So we were having a lot of water damage in the upstairs hall, especially after the winter storms that we had this year, and something needed to be done. So we ended up putting a metal roof on that, just that roof. Brandon worked his butt off. He worked every single weekend on it. He had his dad and our friend Evan come for quite a few of the days to help him on the ground, to help with measuring and cutting the roofing and figuring things out. But he was the one at the end of the day that was up on that roof in a harness, 45-degree angle, putting metal on our roof. It was a very nerve-wracking thing, and we didn't really see much of him for a lot of the spring because every weekend he was just on the roof. But in the end, it is exactly what needed to happen. It's beautiful. We're very happy with it. And then next year, the plan is to put metal on the rest of the roof. We did what was in the budget this year. So next year, hopefully, we'll be doing the other part of the roof, which is much less steep, I should add, and less complex. There's no like weird angles or skylights to work with. So next year should be a little easier if we get to that. We also are doing the detached garage. That is getting some shingles in the fall, but we're not there yet. We're focusing on the kitchen. So that brings us to now. That brings us to the kitchen. Long time coming. I wanted to rip this kitchen apart the first day that we came here. That was like the first thing I wanted to do. But as you know, moving is expensive, and we came into living here from our move pretty broke, and just kind of said, you know what, the kitchen is like the center of the home. If we rip it apart, are we really going to be able to enjoy our home after we've just moved in? No. So we decided to wait, and now here we are. 3 years later, almost to the day, we moved in at the end of July in 2021, ripping this kitchen apart. So that was a little overview. Sorry if that was long-winded. I just wanted to like give you guys an idea of like how long this all really takes. So let's talk about the kitchen. It's going to be in 4 stages. 4 to 5 stages. The 5th stage will not be in this vlog that you guys see, so I might mention it, but I'm not. I just want to let you guys know that we don't plan on doing it anytime soon. It's going to be much later on. But 4 stages, 4 initial stages that I will cover for this vlog. And each stage is kind of designed that we can do it and then maybe take like a little break and then go back to it and work on the next stage. Obviously it's a kitchen, so it has to function. We have a child, like I need to be able to cook. We need to be able to wash dishes, stuff like that. So you have to be very strategic in how you do things. And unfortunately, a kitchen is really a chain reaction project. Once you do one thing, you gotta do the rest. Stage 1 is going to be moving cabinets. So we have an island area that is quite wide. It has a bar top that has an overhang, and we don't use it as a bar top. We never have. It's just kind of a waste of space. And one thing we don't have is a dishwasher. And so the idea was that we were going to move this section of cabinets over 2 feet, and that would allot for a section for the dishwasher. So that is the first step, is dismantling the cabinets. Between you and me, that's already done. I'm making this video a little late, but that step is already done. The next piece of stage 1 is going to be installing new countertops as well as a new sink. So the countertops and sink kind of go in tandem with each other, of course, and with us moving a section of original cabinets over, you have a 2-foot gap, obviously, in the old counters. So we need to put new counters, and that is fine with me because the laminate counters we had were peeling and super old, and they're blue, and I'm not a fan of that. Pretty dated, you know, the kitchen itself is pretty dated. So we are gonna install new countertops. They are butcher block. They are not going to be functional butcher block though. They are going to have a protective poly on them because I simply do not have the energy to try to upkeep them all the time and keep them from being stained and stuff like that. So they are purely for looks, but they are going to be a wood like butcher block countertop. Exciting. Once that is over, we move into phase 2. So phase 2 is going to be the painting and the cabinets. So we really, you know, have no issue with our cabinets right now. The kitchen as is very functional the way it's set up. It was just dated, right? So the plan is we are going to be refinishing the cabinets. We're going to give them kind of a facelift. So we're going to remove all the doors, and we're going to add some trim to the front to make them into more of a shaker style, and then they are going to all be painted, and I will talk more about colors and everything in just a little bit. I'm going to show you the vision board. They are also getting new hardware, and then they're going right back on exactly where they sit now. No new cabinets. That is a huge expense, and we have no issue with our cabinets. They are custom built into the house. The guy that lived here in the 80s and 90s, he actually built them from scratch, and they are great, so we are going to keep them. Can you hear that? That's my chicken. She's outside the window squawking. Never a dull moment. Okay, so please try to ignore the chicken. I'm sorry. I would have to like run outside and chase her away right now, and I'm just not gonna do that. So anyway, after the cabinets are done and painted and whatever, we are going to do the walls. Of course, those can be being done while the cabinets are being done. It's kind of all interchangeable, but the walls, we are stripping wallpaper off of them, and we're going to be painting them, and then I'm not sure if the detail part of the painting is going to be in this part or not, but they are getting kind of a pretty stenciling on them, but I think I'm going to leave that to stage 4, which we'll talk about in a minute. We're going to see. It kind of depends on where we're at with other things, if I have the time to fully finish the walls in stage 2. Regardless, they're getting painted, they're going to be crisp, they're going to be clean, it's going to be awesome. So that is stage 2. Stage 3. Stage 3 is the floors. This is the other scary part of the renovation, as opposed to stage 1. Stage 1 and 3 are the big ones. So 3 is the floors, and also we are building a hearth for our wood stove. So we have a bunch of original brick that is in the basement. I'm guessing discarded and left over from them building the chimney way back when. And we are going to utilize it as a hearth for our wood stove, which is right in our kitchen. The plan is to just 1 brick high make a big square hearth for the stove to sit on, so it'll be elevated off of the floor, which is one of the big issues we're having, is that stove just gets so hot, it heats the whole house. It is warping our laminate floor, and the floor gets very, very hot. So I really do feel like it needs to be elevated. So that is what we're going to do first, and then we'll be installing new flooring. And that is also why we went with the flooring that we are going with. It is a tile that looks like a hardwood floor, and we love it. It's beautiful and it's very durable and meant to withstand heat. So that is why we went with the tile. We also, you know, we have a child, we have animals, and we were worried if we used like a vinyl plank flooring that it was going to warp and get damaged over time. So tile it is. We're very excited. So that will be going in the kitchen as well as the entryway. So it's going to all be one cohesive floor. So nice. I love that. After stage 3, we will move into stage 4, and that is the miscellaneous stage. So in this stage is going to be things like the under cabinet lighting, stenciling on the walls. We're going to be putting in a backsplash, things like that. There's a bunch of things that are going to need to be done, so I'm not going to list them all off right now, but that's basically just like the odds and ends. And the lighting. The lighting is going to change, hopefully. We have one fixture that is going to move from one spot to a new spot, and then the other 2 hopefully will be getting replaced on a budget. And of course, all of this is on a budget. I'm not going to talk about what the budget is right now because I feel like the number I put out there, people are going to be like, there's no way. But you're going to keep it within that. In the vlog, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to be more transparent as we go, as we're having to buy extra things and see if we actually blow the budget. And at the end of everything, I will tell you guys what the original budget was and what we actually spent. I do want to be transparent with that, but I'm not going to say anything yet. And then the elusive stage 5 is actually changing up the ceiling. We really eventually want to have kind of a wood look ceiling, like with faux beams, but we're not sure yet how that's going to work. And that is well down the road. That would be changing more lighting. There would be just a lot more to it, and that's just not in the budget at the moment. And the last thing I just want to touch upon is the dishwasher. The dishwasher is not presently in the current like renovation budget. We are creating a space for one so that down the road when we have extra money, we can purchase one, but it is not going to be in this vlog most likely. I am going to try and include the kind of curtain thing I'm making to hide it in this vlog because I'm going to make it anyway to hide that open spot. But the actual dishwasher itself probably won't be in the renovation vlog, just as a heads up. So that is kind of the 4 stages. And let's talk about what the kitchen is going to look like. Now, I want to just preface this by saying that this is not everyone's cup of tea, and I already know that people are going to be like, why would you go this direction? And I don't care. This is my style and ultimately what my dream kitchen is. So if you don't 100% agree with the look of it, that's okay. Like I mentioned, this house was built in 1850, and so we want to kind of give the feel of an old working farmhouse kitchen. I want to be very clear that we're not going modern farmhouse here. That is not what we're doing. It is meant to feel like a rustic, old-timey New England kitchen. I also want to stress that we are not restoring it. It is not a restoration. We are going for a feel, okay? My grandfather, he owned a 1740s colonial when I was growing up, and the thing was a museum. He restored it back to its initial, like, state. It was beautiful. It took him like 10 years to do it. I loved every moment of going there when I was little. That is not what we're doing at this house. It is not supposed to be like a museum. It's supposed to be a functional kitchen and just have the feel of an old farmhouse kitchen. So let me bring up the vision board. I'm going to move this way slightly and I'm going to put it here. Okay, so this is what we're going for. We are going warm tones for this room because we already have a beautiful brick wall where the wood stove is. The wood stove is a warm red color. It turns like a deep burgundy when it gets hot. It's beautiful. The existing woodwork in the room, all the trim is a warm toned wood, like a honey color, and we didn't want to mess with any of that. So we are working around all of those elements to do a warm toned room. The room next door in the living room is very cool toned. And so I want to make sure that we bring elements of like cool tones in and marry the two rooms, because while it's not open concept, they are connected with the stairwell in the middle and you can kind of see into one or the other. And so I wanted to be really careful not to make them feel too jarringly different from one another. So this is the color scheme that we're going with. This beautiful kind of golden tone is the cabinets, and I have a bunch of inspo photos that I've been kind of following on my Pinterest, and I feel very confident that it's gonna look super nice. And of course, like keeping with those warm wood tones, the flooring will have warm tones in it. And we are really playing off of the brick and the stove. And then you'll see here that there's going to be some stenciling, and my plan there is to pull some of the colors from the living room into that so that we kind of have a flow going on. And then the staircase in the middle that we just redid, we went with a taupe. It's kind of like a neutral in between because it is in between the two rooms. And so the hope is that there's a good flow of cool tones to warm tones in the house. But this is what we're going with, and I could not be more excited to do this. It's very different. Teddy's room we did warm tones and it was really fun. Every other room we've done cool tones. So I'm excited to do the warm. I want it to feel cozy. I want it to feel homey. I want it to feel lived in when you walk in. I don't want you to walk in and go, oh, this is a brand spanking new kitchen. No, I want it to feel like it's been there for a long time. Even though I know in 1850, like, this isn't how your kitchen would look, of course, I still want to give the feel of like a homey, lived-in farmhouse kitchen. So that's what we're going with. I'm crossing my fingers that this vision comes to life because in my brain, it's beautiful. On paper, you know, in this vision board, it's beautiful. And my vision boards never steer me wrong. I feel like every time I've made one for every room, it's come together so beautifully. So crossing my fingers that it's the same for this. So that is going to be it for the overview. I hope you guys are excited and that you subscribe to the channel so that you can come back and see what's going on. Our timeline is hopefully July to like October-ish time frame. Realistically, we need to get a lot of it done before wood stove season, which we usually fire up the wood stove in early November. So we're hoping that we can get through the majority of the renovation before then, because otherwise we're going to be working in like an inferno. It's so hot in there when we're running the stove, and also just working around it would be really difficult. So the goal is to get it done in this summer and early fall, and bringing you guys along and showing you all the reality of how it goes. And hopefully we don't crash and burn, because I'm going to post a vlog either way. So hopefully the vlog you see in the next couple months is not us failing. Brandon's sitting to the side like, just no sweat. It's fine. We're a little nervous. It's okay. Fine. Anyway, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Feel free to go and check out this playlist. Go see what else we've done in this house, because it's been super fun, stressful, a lot of money, and a lot of time, but we're slowly making the house exactly what we want it to be. So that makes me very happy. Make sure you also subscribe to the channel if you like lifestyle content, thrifting, just like real life stuff, or to see our life here in Maine. We like to kind of focus on that as well. So it's really good to have you all here. Thank you again for the support on this channel. I hope you're having a great summer, staying cool, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!